Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, Outdoor Pursuer. Today I have something special for you in this video. We are going to be cooking with venison. It's going to be a mystery. I have an idea of what I want to make. I've never made it before. I don't know how this is going to turn out. It could turn out bad, it could turn out good. If you don't care about the process and how I'm going to make this, you can go ahead and skip towards the end of the video so you can see the end product and how it turned out, say like the last 2 minutes of this video. If you do care and would like to see how I am going to make this creation, go ahead, stay tuned, and just keep watching the video. I'm hoping that my creativity will turn out well. I have a plan, and I think this will be good. So let's just go ahead and jump into it and see how it turns out. Okay, from there, you just let that roast for an hour, and then we're gonna shut the oven off and let it sit in the oven without opening the door for 3 hours after that initial first hour. In the meantime, we're gonna be making something else, or preparing something else, getting it ready. So let's go ahead and get that started. Maybe you guys can guess what it is. Maybe you can't. I have no idea. Well, however, we are gonna be making up some bacon. Alright, so it's just been slightly over an hour now. We're just going to go ahead and turn off the oven. leave the door closed. Do not open it. Okay, it has now been 3 hours since we turned the oven off. I haven't opened the oven door, so let's go ahead and we need to turn the oven back on and bring the internal temperature of the venison roast up to 140 degrees. I'm not sure how long that's going to take, so we'll just go ahead and do that. We'll check it periodically. And now we just wait and let the temperature, the internal temperature of the venison, come up to 100. Apologies, I think I said 140 earlier. It's 130 degrees. So we'll just check that with the thermometer periodically and make sure that it is at 130 degrees before we take it out of the oven and carve it up for what we are going to make. Okay, as you can see, the oven is brought up to temperature. It's probably been about 5-10 minutes since it's got to 375 degrees. So I'm going to go ahead and check on the roast, see if it's been brought up to temperature. So let's go ahead and do that. And remember that internal temperature needs to be at least 130. Maybe you can see it there, but it's not quite 130 yet, so we're going to go ahead and put it back in the oven until it gets up to 130. Alright, it's been about another 10 minutes, so we're going to go ahead and pull the roast out and check the temperature on it. It's just under 120 right now, so we'll go ahead and stick it in for another 10 minutes and give it another try. should be its final time. In about another 10 minutes it should be at 130, and we can go ahead and get to carving. Alright, the roast has been in the oven now for about 30 minutes, so we're going to go ahead, pull it out, check the temperature, make sure it's at 130 degrees, the internal temperature. Okay. It is now sitting at 130 degrees. It is safe to take out, and I'm going to let it sit here and cool for a little while, and then we will go ahead and get to carving. Now that I've pulled the roast out of the oven, and as it slows down, I'm actually going to go ahead and toast up these buns, the sub buns. Wow, this is awful. I suppose an actual bread knife would be nice. Alright, we got our sub bones prepped and ready. I'm just going to go ahead and toss these in the oven. And like I said, now that it's turned off, just let it go as it cools down, and we can start carving up the roast. Those should toast nicely as the oven cools down. Alright, here I have the roast. It's probably cooled down pretty well at this point, so let's go ahead, take it off, and we can get to carving. Now, I haven't really discussed what I'm going to do with this and my preparation. Maybe you can guess at this point. Whatever I'm going to do, I'm just going to make thin slices, maybe quarter of an inch thick, half an inch thick. I don't want them super thick, but I also don't want them tiny to the point where they're falling apart. So go ahead and give it a try. Middle looks well done. We're good on that. These end pieces I'm not too interested in. I will eat these, but I want bigger pieces. Thin slices, but pieces that take up more area. Anywho, we'll just keep cutting here. Piece is a little thick. Oops. These end slices are getting a little difficult to do here. If you happen to have a meat slicer, I recommend you use it instead of using a knife. This isn't going... It's a little tough to go through it at first. And once you start the cut, it goes through, but towards the end, it's getting really difficult. So if you have a meat slicer you can set settings to, I would go ahead and do that. Because this end bit's a little difficult here. Less risk of taking a finger off with a knife. However, on the same note with that, if you do have a meat slicer, be careful using it so you don't take a finger off or cut your finger. Okay. there we have it. Roast is sliced up. We'll go ahead and check on the buns that are still in the oven. That was probably about 10 minutes or so with the buns being in the oven, so we'll check on those and see what they're looking like. They're definitely browning up. They're getting there. We'll just leave them in here, let them keep going. I might actually turn the oven on and put it at like 250 or something just to maintain that temperature. It wasn't too bad. Looks like it was sitting at 215. That's about how much the temperature's dropped since I've taken the roast out of the oven. So we'll just leave it at 250 and check up on the buns in another 5 minutes. I am, however, while we're waiting on the buns to finish up in the oven, I'm going to try the roast. Those smaller pieces that I said that I didn't want to use for what we're creating now, I'm just going to go ahead and eat those. Give them a try and see how this turned out. That's not too bad. It is a little dry. There wasn't much flavor on that piece though. But it does taste good. Like I said, there's not much flavor to it. It is a little dry, but it's not awful. So I'm just gonna keep eating it because it's pretty. It reminds me quite a bit like jerky, like flavorless jerky, to be honest. Not quite as tough as jerky. The middle's still pretty tender and moist. It's just the outside that's dry. So it is really good. There just wasn't much flavor to it. Even with me accidentally pouring a crap ton of onion powder on there. At least on the one side. I misjudged how quick that was going to come out, but it's still okay. That one has a little bit more, kick to it. Could just keep eating it. Not bad at all. So I do want to mention as well, now that the roast is out of the oven, there is a step before this that I skipped over, where you are to brine the roast overnight for 8 hours before you go ahead and roast it. I skipped over that step. I was inadequately prepared for this video, and so I just went right into making the roast. The next time I go ahead and make something like this, I would like to do that, just to compare and see how they turn out. This isn't bad, like I said. It's a little dry on the outside, but the middle of this roast is still nice, tender. It's cooked all the way through, like I said, and you saw in the video there. It did get up to 130 degrees in the center, so you don't have to worry about raw meat, anything like that. But yeah, if you would like me to make a video and show that process on how you brine from start to finish with the brine to the finished product, I can do that. I'll end up doing it either way, so I might as well make a video out of it. But if you guys are interested in it, then you just keep an eye out for that when it comes out. Just don't want to stop eating this. It's really good. Oh, man. imagine what it's going to taste like with it being brined before. It won't be, the outside won't be so dry, I'm hoping. And it'll be so good. Oh my god, this is already so good. Wow. I could do with a little bit more flavor. Maybe I could just spread it out a little bit more, but oh man, this is good. That brine process before you roast it will help give it more flavor too, which is partly why I would like to try it. This, like I said, this didn't turn out bad at all with the way it is. I'm going to spend enough rambling. Let's go ahead and check on the sub buns. See if okay, time to check up on the sub buns. Still working on it. It's nice and warm though. We'll let them in there for a little bit longer and we'll give it a try. Alright, I went ahead and left the sub buns in the oven for quite some time now. We're going to go ahead and check on them. It's not quite worked out the way that I wanted it to, but they still should be good either way. So let's go ahead and put together the actual sub now that everything is done. Alright, now that all the food is done and prepared, so we made up the bacon, got the roasted venison, and I will be using pepper jack cheese. You guys can use whatever you want, and I'm going to go ahead and throw some Miracle Whip on there as well. So it's just as simple. You just put the ingredients together as much as you want. That's really not that difficult. So while I'm putting this together, I might as well go ahead and explain why I wanted to make this. So the reason that I wanted to go ahead and make this, or at least give it a shot, is because I like chicken bacon ranch, which I know Miracle Whip's not the same as ranch, but it feels like it would go good together. Anyways, I like chicken bacon ranch subs, and I was going to make a chicken bacon ranch sub for you guys, but I decided I've got this venison here, and I might as well go ahead and use that. So this is what I got from this past hunting season, and I figured I would go ahead and use that rather than using chicken. That wouldn't have been roasted chicken. Well, no, I would have just grilled the chicken and called it good, but it's besides the point. So I thought, what better way than to use it, because I've got this roast, makes sense to make roast. We'll add bacon to it, some mayonnaise. And the reason that I wanted to go ahead and make this was because I was craving one of those subs, but because of what is going on globally, as well as here in the States, we're not really supposed to go to places and do that. So I'm trying my best to stay home. I do work as an essential employee. I'm very fortunate for that. So outside of that, I am doing my best to stay home. Yes, every once in a while, everybody has to go to the store to get more food. People run out. It happens. So I did go to the store, got the bacon, the pepper jack cheese. I went and got the sub buns. I try to do as minimal trips as possible, follow all the guidelines that everybody says to do. So it's an odd time that we live in, and it's just strange. So on this first sub, and to help with my understanding and your guys' understanding, I'm only gonna do the cheese and the roast on just one half of the sub. The other half I'll put the bacon and the mayonnaise on. Just so that, I mean, when you add bacon to anything, you're almost guaranteed that it's gonna be better. So I just want raw comparison rather than adding and just looking at the side with the bacon on it. So and that way you guys can tell too. Okay, the sub is put together. I'll go ahead. So you guys, I mean, you can see there on the layer, this half is going to have the bacon and the mayonnaise. This side is just the cheese, sub bun, and the roast. And I just wanted that side to see for myself, as well as let you guys know how it turned out. Like I explained already, if you add bacon to anything, it's almost guaranteed to be better or good tasting. Anyways, bacon doesn't always make it better, but it still always tastes good. Got the lettuce here. I'm just going to go ahead and add a piece, just one piece, split it in half, add it to both sides. So there isn't much of the sub left, but I'm just going to go ahead and throw that on there. Oh my god. This is so good. Both sides, fantastic. On the side with just the roast and the cheese, probably added too many slices of cheese. I think one slice instead of adding both would be okay there. Or just adding a little bit more roast on that side would be good too. I think you guys have seen enough of me eating at this point. I'm gonna go ahead, turn the camera off, and finish eating this. Enjoy the rest of it. As I already mentioned earlier, I did skip over a step in this process. If you guys would like to see me do the brine step before you do the roast, from start to finish, I will end up go ahead and make a video of that. So just stay tuned for that. It'll be out eventually. If you guys enjoyed that video, however, or this video, make sure you click that like button. If you have any comments, suggestions, or what you would like to see next, you can leave those down below. I'd love to hear them from you. And if you're not already and would like to receive more content like this, go ahead and hit the subscribe button, as well as that notification bell. Until then, see you outdoors.